Now in its 9th season, it's Prodigy Bowlers Tour, celebrating junior bowling and elevating junior bowlers. Today, episode 184, the 2025 Kansas City Open March Point Tournament. 5 players have qualified for the TV finals, but only one can emerge as the Division II champion. Here are the 5 finalists. Qualifying in the 5th position is Alex Prescott of Topeka. He'll face the 4 seed, Lucas Reynolds of Kansas City, Kansas. The winner of that opening match will challenge the 3 seed, Lane Gosser of Baldwin City, Kansas. That winner will bowl the 2 seed, Kelton Meyer of Topeka. And the winner of that semifinal match will bowl for the title against Zion Dawson of Laurie, Missouri. He's our tournament leader. One of these 5 young athletes will survive the stepladder finals to claim the Division II title at the KCO and will sign the coveted trophy pin today on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. We welcome you to Lawrence, Kansas, about a half-hour's drive west from the southern tip of the Kansas City Metro, and to Royal Crest Lanes, a beautiful 40-lane establishment that plays host to lots of tournaments and leagues throughout the season. Today we're here for the Kansas City Open March Point Tournament, the first of 2 tournaments the KCO will hold in March, the other coming in 2 weeks when we travel to Belton, Missouri and Aaron's Family Fun Center for the KCO March Adult Youth Doubles Tournament. But today, we're welcoming back the Kansas high school bowlers, whose high school season ended on Friday in Wichita at the state finals, where a number of KCO regulars were in the mix for individual medals and team achievements. In fact, congratulations to one of our finalists on Prodigy today, Kelton Meyer and his brother Caston, who you may recall was our winner in the handicap division at the 2024 KCO Tournament of Champions. Well, those 2 brothers are members of the Kansas 4-1A State Championship high school team, the Hayden Wildcats of Topeka. Nice job, gentlemen. Speaking of high school connections, our 4 seed, Lucas Reynolds, is a teammate of Prodigy superstar and reigning PBAA Co-Player of the Year, Rhett Ryman. And another brother connection, our tournament leader today, Zion Dawson, is the older brother of Cale Dawson, who you saw last month on our Division III show from Leavenworth. As you know, there are 5 average-based divisions at the KCO, and we bring you the stepladder finals in 2 of them from each KCO event. Today, we're focusing on Division II, although you will see the Division IV finalists bowling in the periphery to our left and the Division V group in the periphery to our right. Then, in about a week, look for episode 185, where we'll bring you the stepladder finals in Division I, and you'll see the Division III finalists in the periphery. A squad went off at 8:45 this morning, and both A and B squads completed 3 games of qualifying before the lunch break, and then came back for 3 more games in the afternoon before the field was cut to the top 5 in all 5 divisions. So it's time to light the fuse and get this rocket blasting off. Here in our opening match, it's the 5 seed, Alex Prescott, against our number 4 qualifier, Lucas Reynolds. Both of these young fellows are making their first appearance on Prodigy today. In fact, 4 of our 5 contestants today are appearing in the featured division on Prodigy for the first time. Only Lane Gosser in our field today has made the TV show before today. And actually, this kid, Alex Prescott, has only bowled in 1 KCO this season. That was back in September. He was in Division I at the time and finished 14th. Starts with a pretty commercial shot, finds the pocket, leaves the soft 10, So we're off and running. As you can see, Alex is getting 2 pins of handicap. His opponent, Luke Reynolds, getting 13. So Alex is effectively spotting Lucas 11 pins of handicap. He moves to the left side of the approach. We'll go cross lane at the 10. And covers it easily. Now we get our first look at Lucas Reynolds. Lucas is 16 years old. His opponent, Alex Prescott, is 18. He just turned 18. And this young man, Lucas Reynolds, is on the same high school team with Prodigy star Rhett Ryman. And he starts with a bang. Take another look at his approach, a 5-step approach. Bit of a planter. Stays pretty low throughout the approach. Pop the 10 out. I like it. Well, he pulled that one, and it never got out to the dry part of the lane, so it hydroplaned in the oil all the way down, never got into a good roll, so it hit the pocket and deflected to the right around the 5 pin, and he leaves the 5-7. Here's how to make it. Move your feet about 3 boards left of your strike position, throw it over your strike target, and you should make the 5-7. Close. But there's an open frame. Now you see that we've added his handicap in the first frame. You go strike and then 9 out in the second frame. That would give you 19 in the first, 28 in the second. We've added the 13 to the 19 in the first frame, so he's all caught up with his handicap, already factored into his score. We'll do the same thing with Alex and all of our players today. Crunch. A solid strike for Alex Prescott. This kid has a 299 to his credit and has bowled a 787. Not bad, young man. And I bet he did it with a lot of shots that looked like that. Says he got started bowling because, well, his sister bowled. And so he decided to tag along and go bowling with her. Well, he did something similar on that shot to what Lucas did when he left the 5-7. Alex pulled that one left of his target. It never got out to the dry boards on the right side of the lane. And so it never really made a turn to the pocket, just ticked the head pin. And he leaves a tricky little 2-pin spare, the 4-8. Very choppable. But he makes it look easy. It's not that easy. But he stays clean through 3 frames. Now we've got bowlers to our left and right. On the left, that's Division 4. And over on the right, that's Division 5. You see little Kendall Cochran. She's been on the show before. Look at this. I wonder how much of a player coach Rhett Ryman is on that Turner High School team. I think he's showing Lucas some tricks, maybe? I don't know, but this looks pretty solid. Better shot on the left lane that time. He got that one out just a little bit, just enough that it read the friction and came back. Watch it again. Rather than pulling it straight toward the 1-3, he actually sends this one out to the right a little bit, just enough that it found a little friction on the lane, and down they go. It seems so easy when you see other people do it. Boy, Alex really gave that one plenty of room, a little too much room. He just missed right, and it looked like maybe he might have had a little footing issue on his final step. But he's left the 1-2-4. You got to get that ball over on the Brooklyn side, put it on the 1-2. The 2 will get the 4. Just like that. Well, this young man won the state tournament in high school bowling his freshman year. And he lists that as his best moment in bowling. High school bowling, a big deal in the state of Kansas. It's a full varsity sport. In Missouri, they have high school bowling as well, but it's just a club activity, treated a little differently. Ooh. Wow. Didn't see that coming. He sent it what seemed like just wide enough to find the friction, but boy, did it pick up in a hurry. And now he's got the big 4, or as we used to call it when I was young, double pinochle. Sometimes called double trouble. It is that for sure, and it's an open frame for Alex. So he gives that open back to Lucas, who has a double working and a 28-pin lead. He's smooth. Four strikes in 5 frames. Not a bad way to start. The ball is right next to his ankle. You see it's below his head or even a little to the left of that, which is even better. I'd like to see him get his hand a little more behind the ball. It's a little bit on the side. His elbow could be a little closer to his side, but can't argue with the results of that shot. Now that one just got away from him. He sent that one a little too wide. Evidently on both of these lanes, you send it outside of about 6. It ain't coming back. And for the second time today, we see the 1-2-4. And he got that ball just enough to the left that the 2 got the 4. So it's another spare. And Alex Prescott has some work to do. He's down by 35 as he heads to the second half of the match. Oh man, what a break. He sent that one a little too wide. Once again, it didn't quite make it back. And that had 210 or even 2810 written all over it, but something came back and rolled out the 2-pin. And apparently the automatic scoring in the building picked that up as an 8 count, so they have corrected it. He did, in fact, get 9 on the first ball. And he covers the spare. But Alex needs to put together a little string of strikes to try to get back in this match. He can't be waiting around for Lucas to make a mistake. Lucas does not look like he is prone to making many mistakes. He had the one split earlier, but he's looked pretty solid most of the way. Well, once again, the ball just doesn't quite make the corner. We've seen that a couple of times. And for the second time today, we get the 4-8. A spare we don't see every day, but it's not really what I would call an uncommon leave, but not one you see every day. You could go a couple of months of league without ever leaving it, for sure. Got to be careful not to pick the 4 off the 8. There you go. He took that out of play. He almost took the 8 off the 4 instead, but it's a spare. And now he will sit down and hope that Lucas doesn't put a couple of strikes up on the board against him and grow the lead. Well, that one almost spelled a little bit of trouble for Lucas. He had the 4-9 peeking at him, but the 4 went out. Got a friendly trip, and now he's got just the 9. This should be very routine. And it is. Well, Lucas says that he wants to grow up to be a fireman. How about that? Let me be the first to thank him for his service. Hope I never need him, but if I do, I'll be glad he's on the job. Well, that one got away from him again, just too wide. There's not quite the swing area on either one of these lanes, really, that we've often seen at Royal Crest lanes. I don't know if they oiled the lanes a little differently today than we've seen in the past, but for whatever reason, you send it a little too wide, it ain't coming back. But he takes care of the 1-2, easy peasy. Well, Alex, it's go time, my friend. Still a possible 2-11. Lucas going at a 2:15 pace. So this is anybody's match. But Alex has got to get busy. He really could have used a strike there. Take a look at his game. See, he gets to the top of the swing, and then the ball bounces out to the right. See that? It changes swing plane. It goes back on the inside, and then it comes down from the outside going in. In golf, we call it an over-the-top swing, and that's where he loses some power. better to go back on the outside and drop it on the inside coming down. But ideally, you'd like to swing on the same plane going back and coming down. Pretty subtle, I know, but can make a huge difference in carry and sometimes in accuracy. This kid is also a weightlifter and does bodybuilding. And look at this, another ball sent wide that will not come back. So something we're going to have to keep our eyes on today on this pair of lanes. You can't really miss right. The 1-2-4. Move your feet about 3 or 4 boards to the right of your strike position. Just throw it over your strike target. Whoops. Well, that's going to be just about the end for Alex today. The best he can do now is 176. Lucas is sitting at 165 right now if he doesn't throw another ball. He comes in light, gets 7, but I think that is going to be enough. There you go. That is enough to put this match away. So if he wants to use the remaining shots in this match to maybe try another ball, try another line to see what's out there that might work. There's a spare in the 9th. But Lucas is moving on to match 2 to face our 3 seed, Lane Gosser, who is waiting in the wings. He's over on the practice pair, staying loose. Possible 222 with 3 strikes in the 10th. Well, that time he got a little bit more action on the ball. He sent it wide, but it had a little more axis rotation, and it did come back. We've seen some other shots thrown out in this zone that just hung out there, but this one comes back. And he swishes out the left side of the rack. 2 more strikes for 222. Well, he pulled that one, and it's set right where he needed it. So there is some pull area for sure. And depending on how it comes off your hand, you may be able to bring it back if you miss wide right. But clearly the lanes are cooperating with Lucas. How about another one? Well, maybe not. He crosses over, gets 9. Still, that's a good 221. More than enough to carry the day here in match 1 as Alex Prescott can finish out the match and take what he will from this experience. This guy has won over 10 tournaments, so he's certainly capable of bowling better than he showed us today. Another one of these bowlers from Topeka. He started young, started bowling at the age of 8. So he's going to be around. But if we're going to see him at the KCO, it's going to have to be between now and the KCO Invitational in June because he ages out of youth bowling this summer. He just turned 18 last month in February. Of course, he could always come back to the KCO as an adult partner in the adult youth doubles tournament. There's a 9 count to finish it off. It's going to be a 221 to 165 victory for Lucas Reynolds. And now he will face our number 3 qualifier, Lane Gosser, coming up. Alex Prescott just found himself snookered early in the match when Lucas Reynolds started with 4 strikes in the first 5 frames, and Alex just never quite got comfortable. But he'll learn from the experience, and hopefully we'll see him again in the future. But the opening match today goes to Lucas Reynolds, and now he's advancing to match 2, where he'll face our number 3 qualifier, Lane Gosser. This is Lane's second appearance on Prodigy. He was the 3 seed on episode 171, the 2024 KCO Invitational. It wasn't his best showing on the lanes that day, as he had 7 opens and 3 strikes in his one match. But Lane has wiped that from his memory bank, and he is poised to deliver a much better showing this time. And being the higher qualifier, Lane had the option, and he has decided he wants to lead off. And, well, that's a good one to lead off with, I'd say. He rips the rack. Watch this one again. Gets a handful this time. Right in the swish zone. So a strike to begin. Now, Lucas gives that one the big loft. We didn't see that in the first match, but it works quite effectively for him there. As we take another look at that toss. Comes up right about the 5th board. Breaks into the pocket. High flush. Look how carefully he's setting his feet to be very precise, just on the correct board. But then he pulled the shot, and it goes through the nose. Lucky to leave just the 6 pin. But that is a good lesson, especially for beginners. You want to know exactly what board you're standing on. If you just go up there and pick a spot willy-nilly, you're never going to be able to repeat the shot again and again, which is what this game is all about. A strike spare start for Lucas, and 33 in the first. That's indicative of 20 plus his 13 pins of handicap. And now Lane. Boy, he lays that ball down so smooth you can't even hear it touch the lane. Back-to-back strikes to start. No deflection. That ball just penetrates through the pins. 2 beautiful shots to start. Well, that time the ball hooks a little high. Lane, the youngest player in our 5-player stepladder field today, who just turned 15. This is his home bowling center, so he should know these lanes. Covers the 3-6. And now Lucas once again. His favorite PBA pro, he says, is E.J. Tackett. We like E.J. He's a friend of the show. Shakes him up. Lucas, high score, a 279. He's still looking for his first 700 series, but he does have a 690. It'll come. He's real stable at the line. He doesn't move hardly at all. He's in good balance. Holds the pose. Pulled that one. But he gets it on the Brooklyn side. It's not how, it's how many. And you take them any way you can get them. Take another look. Let's see if we can pick out what caused that big pull. Look how his right shoulder has passed his left shoulder. His left arm is behind the back of his head. Anytime your bowling shoulder passes your other shoulder, you're going to pull the shot every single time. The correction is to just let gravity initiate the downswing. Don't pull it down from the top. Wow, Lane is on fire. 3 strikes in 4 frames, and every one of them just 10 back. Watch this again. He could actually get a little more power. See where his fingers are? They're way above the equator. You'd like to see him down where those green marks are, below the equator. He would get so many more revs if he could just stay behind the ball a little bit more and get those fingers lower below the equator. But look at the way he's throwing it now, man. Tough to beat. May have pulled that one, though. Through the nose, you saw he fell a little off balance. That's not characteristic for Lane. He's usually in pretty good balance at the line, but that time the ball got away from him, and he leaves the 3-6-10. Best way to shoot this is from the left side of the lane to avoid chopping it. I know he did not mean to make it that way, but he's not going to give it back, so bank that spare lane. We'll take another look at his strike ball. We'll see why he fell off balance. Look, as soon as he starts to push away, his spine angle goes way forward. That gets your center of gravity up high and out in front of you, and you lose balance. You want to keep your base under you so that you don't have to fall off to the right when you let the ball go. The brain knows not to fall forward because you'll foul, so you fall off to the right. Pretty good shot by Lucas. One more thought on that, keeping your spine from tilting too far forward. I think the easiest way to think about it as a player is just keep your butt down and your shoulders back. That will help you keep your base under you. Lucas covers the 4-pin, and he has proven himself to be a pretty good spare shooter today, I must say. His dad's the one that got him started bowling. And he says that his best moment in the sport came when he got second in state with his high school team, Turner High, Kansas City, Kansas. Boom! Out go the lights. We've got us a close match. It's within a mark. 5-step approach. He plants on the final step. That one over about 13 at the arrows. Didn't really swing that one out. He kind of pulled it, I think, but worked out. All right, Lane. Oh, boy. Well, I don't know if you noticed it, but that swing kind of bounced outside like I showed you that Alex Prescott did. Lane's swing plane varied from back to down. It went back to the inside, and then it bounced out, and it cut across his body. And that is a virtually unmakeable split, the 4-6-7. You might see that made 2 or 3 times in your life if you're lucky. So Lane surrenders a 21-pin lead to Lucas. Oh, man. And he came right back with an excellent shot, but it just didn't quite have the entry angle for the 6 to slap out the 10, so he leaves the dreaded ringing 10. He'll go cross lane at it. And he takes care of it, but boy, he would have loved to have gotten a strike there. Whenever you have an open in a close match, you want to come right back with a strike if you can. You don't want to have to wait. You want to get that bad taste out of your mouth right away. With a shot like that. And Lucas, with that strike, puts a double on the board. That extends his lead to 31. And he is going to make it very hard for Lane Gosser. In good balance, real stable at the foul line. That's what you're looking for. Can he get 3 in a row? Not like that. A little fortunate in that the 4-pin went down, but the 6-7 split is no walk in the park. It's more makeable than the 4-6-7. Here's how you do it. Put the ball over on the right edge of the 6-pin and just slide it across the lane into the 7. Ooh, man, that was close. That was real close. Probably didn't miss by more than about 1/4 of an inch. At 62 feet away. That's pretty good, but not good enough to avoid the open. Lane would have loved to have jumped right on that open, but instead he leaves the 4-pin. Still, we've got a 16-pin match now. That's closer than it was. Okay. Heading into the 9th and 10th frames. Lane with a possible 220 if he strikes in the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Lucas is going at a 216 pace. So this is still anybody's match. But Lane still crowding the head pin a little bit. Almost had the 4-9. The 9 went out, but he's still got the 4. That reduces his possible score to 209. A spare here and 3 strikes in the 10th. That would mean that Lucas would need to mark in the 9th and 10th frames. Okay. So now all Lane can do is sit down and hope. Hope that Lucas opens in one of these 2 frames. He's stayed pretty clean most of the way in his matches thus far. He's got 1 open in the 8th this game. Goes through the nose. That could have been a bigger issue than it is. The 3-6-10 is not the spare you really want to have to shoot if you must mark. But at least it's not a split.
Good finish, Gary.
And he covers it. So Lucas's job right now is to just find a way to get a mark in the 10th frame. And good count. Ooh, boy, the 4-9. Looking at him for a second there, but he trips out the 4 and leaves a very routine spare, the 9-pin. Once again, the best Lane can do is 209 with 3 strikes in the 10th. Lucas needs to cover this 9-pin and then get 5 on the fill ball to shut him out. Oh, but he whiffs the 9. And now the door is open. So Lucas with a 204, Lane needs to double. He needs a strike on this ball and the next ball to win. But no, he goes high, leaves the 6-pin, and that seals it. Lucas Reynolds wins match 2. Lane had a chance. He had ball in hand with a chance to win the match, but came up high and left the 6-pin. So, boy, didn't look like Lane was going to have a chance at the end, but he did. And I know he's going to be disappointed coming away from this match with an opportunity squandered, but this was a much better performance for Lane Gosser than the last time he was on Prodigy. He will be back. But right now, it's Lucas Reynolds who's moving on to match 3. He'll face Kelton Meyer. Another close match. This time, Lane Gosser had ball in hand in the 10th frame with a chance to win, but he just couldn't deliver a double when he needed it. Still, it was a far better showing than his first time on Prodigy, and I think he might have even come away from this performance with a newfound confidence that he has what it takes to win. So maybe it'll go his way next time. But today, it's Lucas Reynolds who kept his winning ways going, and now he finds himself in match 3 facing our 2-seed, Kelton Meyer. It's already been an eventful week for Kelton. On Thursday, he and his brother Caston helped their high school team to win the Kansas State 1-4A state championship. And his brother Caston is already the reigning champion in the handicap division at the Prodigy Bowlers Tour Tournament of Champions. Now Kelton just needs to win the next 2 matches, and he'll get himself into that tournament in June. Kelton's only been bowling about a year and a half. He started when he was 15. He's 16 now. Goes a little high with that one, leaves the 4-7. Kelton has won 4 tournaments, although he's counting 3 high school meets as tournaments. The Youth Showcase in 2024, I'm not familiar with that tournament. Goes straight at the spare and covers it easily. He looks pretty solid. And I'll tell you who's been bowling pretty solid is Lucas Reynolds. If he can keep his momentum going, he's going to be tough to beat. Well, not if he throws shots like that. That one got away from him. The 1-2-4-7. The clothesline. Get that ball to hook to the Brooklyn side. Or you can take it out on the right side if you'd rather. We don't recommend it. But he got away with it. This young fellow also plays baseball. And he says he stopped bowling for 3 years. So he started bowling when he was 5. Started bowling in league when he was 5, and somewhere along the way he tired of it and quit for 3 years. But I'll tell you what, he's still got a knack for it. Here's his footwork, 5-step approach. You see the last step is a plant over the second arrow out to about 8 at the break point. Boom, down they go. Well, Kelton once again, a little high. Leaves the 3-6. He says he likes Anthony Simonson as his favorite PBA player. Kelton with a high game of 279. And his high 3-game series, 771. Got started bowling by a friend of his in Topeka that you know on Prodigy, Andrew Farrow. He's bowled on the show before. That ball just didn't make the corner. I think if he'd sent it a board or two wider, it might have hooked back. But easy spare, the 2-pin. And he takes care of it. Well, both of these young fellas coming off the break for the high school bowling season in Kansas, which took up January, February, and the first week of March. Another high hit, another 3-6 leave. When the high school bowling season is underway, Kansas high school bowlers cannot bowl tournaments. They cannot bowl league. It's a rule in Kansas high school bowling that none of us really understands. I'll be honest with you, I think it's ridiculous, but I don't get a vote. I think the theory is that it gives an advantage to players in urban areas, whereas you go out to West Texas, they may not have bowling alleys close enough that they can benefit from bowling in leagues or tournaments, so they want to give everybody a level playing field. I get that. Big strike for Lucas. Get another look at it here. He's thrown some good ones. Like to see him keep his hand a little more behind the ball. He kind of twirls it, kind of spins it at the bottom. Just keep your hand behind it and roll it off your fingers. Kind of like Kelton's doing. That ball just tears through the pins. He's a cool customer, I gotta say. Doesn't show much emotion. Ball in good position in the back of his swing. Almost chopped the 5 off the 9. Still within a mark. There you go. There's our first double of the match. And with it, Kelton Meyer takes the lead. See that ball right under his head, maybe a little inside of that, pretty close to his ankle. I'd like to see him keep his shoulders back just a little bit. He gets them out in front of him a little more than I'd like, but he's bowling pretty well without my advice. There you go. That's the way you rip the rack. Lucas sent that 5-pin over toward the 7. It didn't quite get all the way to the 7-pin. Something else got the 7-pin. I'm not sure what it was. Let's see if we can pick it up here. I have no idea what that was. I'd have to watch the replay a few more times. But it's a double, and he retakes the lead. Uh-oh. Big trouble. Right through the nose, and he leaves the Greek church. The 4, 6, 7, 9, 10. And as if a likely open frame isn't bad enough, he also short counts with just 5 on the first ball. But he does the smart thing, takes the count. I don't know that I would have shot it that way if I was really needing to make it. But making it is such a rarity that taking the count is the more prudent play 9 times out of 10. Wow. You can't throw it any better than that. And Kelton Meyer now has 3 in a row. Watch this one. Love the way he keeps his elbow in close. This kid is going to be good. When he gets a little more experience under his belt and a little more knowledge, look out for Kelton Meyer. Wow. He did not send that one out to the right the way he meant to. It just barely came back and still had enough on it to tilt out the 5. Watch this. This could so easily have been a 5-pin or a 5-7. But it has just enough drive on it to tilt out the 5. And Kelton has a 4-bagger. Lucas, it's go time. Pretty good play. But that 6-pin just laid down in the channel and didn't even think about tipping out the 10. Uh-oh. He turned around before that ball was halfway down the lane. He knew it was bad news, and sure enough, that's back-to-back opens, and now Kelton Meyer's lead has grown to 42 pins through 7 frames. Lucas, no more margin for error. Well, he bounces back with a strike. The question is, can he come up with a strong enough finish? And will Kelton even give him an opening to have a chance to make a comeback? Kelton's looked pretty strong thus far. There's another one. Wow. And now the lead is 52 with just 2 frames left, and I think Lucas knows what's going on. He can count. Good balance. Puts a nice roll on that ball, too, I tell you what. Try for a 6-bagger. Nope. Didn't come back. But he's got a 50-pin lead, assuming he covers the 2-4. which should be fairly routine for a right-hander anyway. Easy peasy. Well, Lucas can strike out for 223. That would mean that Kelton would at least need to show up for the 10th. But without a strike in the 9th, I believe that's all she wrote. It was a long shot anyway. And Lucas Reynolds' day is going to be done as soon as he finishes his 10th frame and congratulates Kelton Meyer. But he had a nice ride. He won a couple of matches, got this far. And that's not nothing. So we might see him again. Well, once again, the bowlers to our left, bowling in the periphery on lanes 9 and 10. That's Division 4. And to our right on 13 and 14, that's Division 5. And as soon as we're done here with our championship match, we will recap how the stepladder finals played out in Divisions 4 and 5 to our left and right, respectively. Well, it's an open frame in the 10th for Lucas. Not what he wanted, but kind of academic at this point. Kelton Meyer's going to take a victory lap here, as you see Cale Dawson, the younger brother of Zion Dawson, who's our tournament leader, stepping in to get the lay of the land. As Kelton Meyer goes high with his opening toss in the 10th frame. I think Cale just scoping out the scores to see what Kelton shot to report to his brother Zion. I think he can tell his brother Zion that Kelton looks ready to rumble. Fill it up here with a strike in the fill ball, and he will shoot 240. Not bad. Thin, leaves 3, a 245, so it's a 7 count to finish and a 237. That's nothing to sneeze at. It's enough to get him into the championship match, where he's about to face the big dude, our tournament leader, Zion Dawson. We'll have that match next. Here's how the entire Division II field finished today. There were 34 contestants in Division II, and of course you know the top 5. Cortland Worrell was our alternate in 6th. There's Caston Meyer in 7th. We nearly got both brothers on the show today. Hadley Keeler in 11th. There's Cale Dawson, Zion's younger brother. You saw Cale last month in Leavenworth. In 16th, there's Curtis Malem, our winner last month in Division III. The Tonganoxie Twister in 17th. Gage Wilkins in 20th. Alina Miller in 21st. Peyton Tryon, a 2-time winner on Prodigy, in 23rd. Davis Christensen, who had a nice tournament last month in February. There's Layla, the left-handed Gonzalez sister. Colton Boob, and finally there's Luke Gramling rounding out the field today. Well, in our last match, Kelton Meyer strung together a 5-bagger in a clean game to put an end to any hopes Lucas Reynolds might have had of running the stepladder. Lucas had a nice run today, winning the first 2 matches, but Kelton Meyer took the lead in the 4th frame and never looked back. So Lucas will have to settle for a 3rd-place finish as Kelton Meyer has put himself in the championship match against our tournament leader, Zion Dawson. Zion started the season in Division 1, but finished dead last that day in November. In fact, his scores were so low that he got re-rated down to Division 4 for his next tournament, which was last month. He was the tournament leader that day in Leavenworth and went on to win. And as a reward, he got re-rated back up again to Division 2, where he's led the field today, and now he's just one match win away from signing the coveted trophy pin. But it's hard to know exactly which Zion Dawson we're going to get. To say he's been hot and cold so far at the KCO would be an understatement. But he bowled well enough today to grab the pole position, so he's got a chance to go back-to-back. Last month in Division 4 and today in Division 2. But if Kelton Meyer keeps throwing strikes like he did in that last match, he'll be a tough out. Zion has already secured his invitation to the Prodigy Tournament of Champions in June, thanks to his win in Division 4 last month. And now Kelton can punch his own ticket if he can deliver a win here. But he will have to get past the guy they call Zetron. Man, he can rip the cover off the ball. I saw this guy qualify last month in Leavenworth. He was bowling in Division 4, and I went up to him. I said, "What are you doing in Division 4? Well, he told me that he had bowled earlier in the season in Division 1 and bowled so poorly that he got re-rated all the way down to Division 4. Well, he led the tournament that day, won it, and now he's back in Division 2. He might stay here a while. Oh. Well, now. Not if he can't make spares. Okay, well, you see his 15 pins of handicap are added into his score right there in the first frame. 9 out plus 15. That's how you get to 24 in the first. And Kelton Meyer will see what he can do to combat that. Well, he throws an errant shot right through the nose, nearly had the baby split. The 3-pin went out. But he'll have to shoot the 10-pin. So it comes down to the 1 and 2 seeds here at the KCO in Division 2. Kelton takes care of that 10-pin without breaking a sweat. Well, this young fellow says that his best moment in bowling came winning state in 2025 for his high school team. That's Hayden High in Topeka. And that happened on Thursday, so he's hardly had a chance to catch his breath. 10-pin. A little too much deflection as the ball went through the pins. Ball finished behind the 9-pin. A lot of people see a ball as it enters the pocket, and they judge the quality of the shot based on that. A far better gauge is how the ball leaves the back of the pin deck. That'll tell you if the ball penetrated going through the pins, if it deflected to the right, or if there was no deflection or even kept climbing. Sometimes you'll see a strike ball finish behind the 8. You get it to split the 8 and 9, and chances are you're going to have a strike in front of you. All right, Zion. Oh, well now. That's not what he had in mind. This young fellow says he likes Jason Belmonte as his favorite PBA pro. Would like to bowl PBA when he grows up. I think that is definitely a possibility. Whoa! What's happening here? I think Zion could stand to learn to throw the ball a little straighter at spares. Wow. That's just throwing away pins. Chances are you're not going to make the 4, 6, 7, but you at least want to get the 2. Those pins might come in handy at the end. You never know. All right, let's regroup. Wow, that ball just hooks like crazy. Can't help wondering if maybe he needs a different piece of equipment in his hands. That ball hooked before it got about halfway down the lane, leaving the 5, lucky to get away with 9 on that shot. Good heavens. That white ball, I think, is a spare ball. Maybe. Might not be, but certainly hooks. But the good news is he got a spare, so something good happened for him. And maybe that'll start an avalanche. All right, Kelton. Boy, I tell you what, he looks like he is in rhythm still. Coming off a 237 the first game. Watch this. Smooth. Over about 19 at the arrows. Looks like it got out to about 7. Snaps out the 10 like a boss. That one he never got as wide. There's a buildup of oil in the center of the lane. So if you don't send the ball far enough to the right to find some drier boards and some friction, you're going to be sending that ball down the lane on the oil where the friction is very low, and the ball will just hydroplane down the lane and never get into a hook or a roll. So he leaves the 8-pin. Oh my! Well, that was unexpected. So that lets Zion right back in the match. He now trails by just 4 pins. And that was an unforced error by Kelton Meyer. Well, Zion plays football and basketball. And he says, no matter what the sport, I always come to win. I love the attitude. Now he just needs to bring the performance up to match the attitude. A high hit there leaves the 3-6-10. You want to stand on the left side of the lane and throw a straight ball at this, preferably. That's why you don't want to hook at the 3-6-10. It opens up the gap between the pins, making it easier to chop, and Zion found a way to pluck the 3 right off the 6-pin. So it's an open frame, and just when he thought he was back in the match, now he falls behind by 19. And he's got 3 opens in 4 frames. He needs to get off that train right now. Oh my. Well, it looks like he was trying to overpower the lanes by throwing it extra hard or throwing it a little extra wide. If the ball is overhooking and going farther left than you want it, you don't throw the ball farther to the right. You move your feet farther to the left. There's very low friction in the middle of the lane. It won't hook that much if you'll just play in the center of the lane. But he keeps throwing it out to the right side of the lane where there is decidedly more friction. out there. And that time it didn't quite make it back. And that's another open frame. Man. Well, if you saw his scores in qualifying today, you never would have predicted anything like this. He shot a 288 in qualifying today. Kelton Myers like just, okay, I'll bounce back from that open. Now the question is, can he sustain it? In good balance. Watch that 6-pin just slap out the 10. Love it. Not as wide, but he got it to come back just enough. And once again, that 6-pin tomahawks out the 10. And now he has extended his lead to 40 pins. Watch this. He will not get this ball as wide as some of the others, but it still had enough on it to carry the 10. That's impressive. And I think Zion has picked up his turquoise ball. This is his spare ball. So not surprising it doesn't drive through and get the 5, but at least it hit the pocket. Let's take a look at his footwork, and I think we're going to see something interesting. Okay, that's the board that his left foot is on. That's the inside of his left foot, the 16th board. Watch how much he drifts. And here's the board he finishes on, board 29. He drifts 13 boards to the left. Now, I'm not saying you have to walk straight. That's kind of old school teaching. It'd be great if he could walk straight. And drifting to the left is better than drifting to the right, because you want to walk out of the way of your swing. But that's all you need to do, is just get out of the way of your swing. 13 boards, boy, that's a lot. And if you don't do it exactly the same shot after shot, it's real hard to be consistent. He could probably work on that a little bit. Just try to reduce the amount of drift by some. You know, drift 6, 7 boards, that's fine. As long as you do it the same every time. Ay, 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 ay. He's just all over the place. And I know he bowls better than this. This is just one of those days where you just go, I don't have any answers. The 1, 2, 4, 6, 10, there's 2 ways to make it, either on the left side of the head pin or the right. But if you play for the right side of the head pin, you need to throw it straight from the left side of the lane, not hook at it. And that's why, because you don't get the deflection off the head pin. Well, when it rains, it pours. Ten pin for Kelton, and he's thinking, you know, I'll take that. I can make a 10 pin. He leads by 55. Assuming he covers this spare. And there it is. So as we get to the 8th frame, we have a 55-pin advantage for Kelton Meyer. The best Zion can do is 179. I think Kelton can get there without much sweat. That'll give him 144 in the 7th with a strike up. So I think the witching hour is nigh. It's another good one. Kelton's thrown a lot of those today. All right, Zion, show me something. There you go. As I always say when somebody throws one of those, just do that. Easier said than done, I'm afraid. But I tell you what, he got a handful that time. That's the ball that finishes behind the 8-pin. No deflection. It just tears through the pins. But it's probably going to be too little, too late. He needs 4 more of those. And it's almost inconceivable that a ball with that many revs, that much power, could deflect in the pocket and leave a weak 10, but that's what happened. And now the best Zion can do is 159. Kelton has already banked 154 with 2 frames left to go. And Zion will have to make this, strike out, and hope that Kelton is abducted by extraterrestrials in the next couple of minutes. I don't think that's going to happen. Well, that's not going to help. And that's going to put this match in the win column for Kelton Meyer, as if there were much doubt left. Zion, I've been there. I know how you feel. And Kelton, I've been there too, and I like there a lot better. He's bowled really well today. Really well. He is a cool customer, I'll tell you what. How about that? You know, when Kelton's brother, Caston, won the handicap division at the Prodigy TOC last June, and I didn't really know him. He got into the Prodigy TOC by winning a KCO in a division that only bowled in the periphery, so I wasn't really watching him that day. He wasn't in a division that was featured on Prodigy like this one is, where we're getting to watch Kelton perform his magic tricks. But tell you what, they're both cool under pressure. Let's take a look at how consistent Kelton's been this game. He's thrown a lot of strikes. Here are 3 of them in the 6th, 8th, and 10th frames. See if you can tell the difference. With this kind of consistency, it's no wonder he's bowled so well. And if you think those are similar, let's stack them on top of each other with our exclusive Prodigy 3 Deep look. And now, can you tell the difference? That's pretty consistent. That's how you get it done under pressure. I'll tell you what, that is some good bowling. He finishes with 9. That's a 233 to go along with that 237 he bowled the previous game. Not bad, young man. And Zion, if this was a football game, the coach would burn the tape. He's just going through the motions to get this over with. He's going to head to the car and ask Mom or Dad to take him for some ice cream or something. Well, Mama said there'd be days like this. Just didn't want to have it happen in the championship match at the KCO. But today is Kelton Meyer Day in Division II at the KCO, and we'll visit with him, get him to sign the coveted trophy pin. In a match that I'm sure Zion Dawson will try to forget, he had 7 opens and just 1 strike. But don't let that paint the type of bowler he is in your mind. In qualifying today, Zion fired scratch scores of 238, 204, 288, 245, 214, and 221. So it's understandable why a look of frustration poured over his face during that last match. But hey, Zion, don't feel too bad. We've all been there. Sooner or later, it happens to everyone. This kid will be back, and next time he's liable to be back in Division I, where he started the season. But on this day, it's the steady hand of Kelton Meyer that prevailed. And after firing a 237 in the semifinal match against Lucas Reynolds, Kelton backed it up with a 233 in the championship match to leave no doubt as he sewed up the Division II title. And you know what that means. It's time for you to meet our winner. It's been a busy week for this boy. His team won the Kansas State Finals in high school bowling. You're on the team with your brother,
Yes.
Kasten Meyer, who Prodigy viewers have seen before when he won the handicap division at the Prodigy Tournament of Champions last summer. But they have not met Kelton Meyer, and Kelton Meyer just did something. He just won the Division II title here in Lawrence at the March Point Tournament, the KCO. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
Yeah? Have you ever won a tournament like this before?
No, I've taken 3rd at the KCOs twice, but I've never won.
Well, you've won now. So what was different today? How did you do it?
Everything just clicked, and I made a lot of my spares. And I usually leave a lot of opens, and today I didn't.
Well, I can tell you that as a coach, and I speak for probably every coach in the world that preaches that spares are everything in this sport. I think you are living testimony to that fact. Would you not agree?
I do agree.
Well, that's pretty awesome. And so, did you have fun today?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, we almost got the two of you, both brothers, on the show. You were both in the top 5 after the A squad this morning, but Kasten kind of fell back a little bit. But you carried the banner for the Meyer family. That's awesome. Congratulations. And I guess you probably know what this means. You now get to sign the coveted trophy pin, and that punches your ticket to this year's Prodigy Tournament of Champions, and maybe you can do what your brother did last year in winning the handicap division, and who knows, maybe you could go on and win the coveted trophy pin in the final showdown. Today is 3-9. Let's see it. Let's see it. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Kelton Meyer, he won on March 9th, 2025, and he is now a KCO champion and a champion on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Congratulations.
Thank you.
As I mentioned earlier on the show, the bowlers in the periphery to our right were the Division V finalists. And here's how their stepladder finals played out. In the opening match, it was a battle of the mighty mites as little Carter Reese defeated little Kendall Cochran 164 to 144. Then in match 2, Shane Wood got the best of Carter Reese 188 to 138. In match 3, Shelton Dukes got past Shane Wood 185 to 139. And in the championship match, the tournament leader, Anna Bousfield defeated Shelton Dukes in a thriller 151 to 150. So congratulations to Anna Bousfield on her Division 5 title in her very first try. Then, as I mentioned earlier, the bowlers to our left in the periphery were the Division 4 finalists. Here's how their stepladder played out. A disqualification was imposed on the tournament leader after the stepladder was completed. So, in the final standings, the alternate, Pierre Luis Flores Garcia, was elevated from 6th place to 5th, and all the other players moved up one spot. Garrett Ogle defeated Emma Lorenzas 204 to 141 to climb up to the next match. And there, Garrett won again, this time defeating Johnny Futrell, who you saw win the December Adult Youth Doubles Tournament with his dad. The final in this one, 174 for Garrett, 158 for Johnny. And that set up what would prove to be the championship match, where Caleb Montague put an end to Garrett Ogle's march to the title, 183 to 163. So, congratulations to Caleb Montague on his title as the Division 4 champion at the 2025 KCO March Point Tournament. If you'd like to bowl an upcoming Kansas City Open, visit their website at www.kansascityopen.com. There's only a few KCOs left this season, and the spots fill up. So go to their website for everything you need to know to enter. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up, smash the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell to receive notifications whenever we post new content. And be sure to leave a comment down below. All these things help the YouTube algorithm to drive more traffic to our channel, which helps us grow. Plus, if you'd like to support the work that goes into producing Prodigy Bowlers Tour, and it takes about 40 hours to produce each and every episode of the show, become a Prodigy patron. For as little as $5 a month, you'll get early access to each full-length episode we put out there. And for just $10 a month, you not only get early access, but you also get your name in the show's closing credits as an executive producer. You know, like the big shots in Hollywood do in the closing credits of motion pictures. Go to www.patreon.com/Prodigy Bowlers Tour and follow the instructions to become a patron. You will have my undying gratitude. To keep up with all things Prodigy, join the Prodigy Facebook group. From any page on Facebook, type Prodigy Bowlers Tour into the search bar and hit enter. That'll take you to the page where you can submit a request to join our Facebook group. But remember, you got to answer the 3 simple screening questions. There's no right or wrong answer, but you need to answer them so we know you're a real live human being and not a spam bot. Nobody wants spam bots in the group. So that's a wrap for this edition of Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Remember, with 2 KCO events in March, we're turning 4 shows in 4 weeks. So be on the lookout for our next episode, which will be the Division 1 finals from this very same March Point Tournament in Lawrence. That'll be episode 185. So until then, this is Coach Randy reminding you to stay behind the foul line. Don't drop the ball on your toes, or anybody else's toes for that matter. Keep covering your spares, and I'll talk to you again on the next edition of Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Now, go get your bowl on.
The best youth bowlers in the Midwest return to Royal Crest Lanes for the Division I Championship round at the 2025 KCO March Point Tournament. Look for Prodigy episode 185 next week, right here on the Brownswood Bowling channel on YouTube.